forgot my outfit. Shoot, forgot my hat. Welcome back to CBM Calling, and it is the week of Christmas. Welcome, Brenda. Brenda, did you catch that at the beginning? That was our very first sponsors commercial. Hopefulgifts.ca is our sponsor for today. So if you are still looking for a meaningful gift to give to someone probably at a distance this year, Hopeful Gifts for Change has many gifts that will make meaningful gifts and brighter futures for the folks that we are endeavoring to serve through CBM, along with our partners. So check that out, hopefulgifts.ca. All right, that's it for the commercial portion. Brenda, welcome. Brenda, you are the Senior Strategic Associate at CBM, and you're going to explain a little bit about what that means.
Okay, thanks, Gordon. Well, basically, a Senior Associate Strategic Projects means I work on things that kind of cross over into a lot of other areas that are sometimes called cross-cutting themes. Sometimes I call them through lines, specifically gender initiatives in both Canada and internationally with gender. I work as part of the international partnerships team. And a key part of what I'm doing is also faith and work initiatives, helping our partners both in Canada and internationally understand the discipleship portion of that, as well as assisting our partners for income generating initiatives and businesses for sustainability. And I do a couple of other things. Some of our listeners will be familiar with the Groups of Hope. So I facilitate trainings on that as well.
You're also, and the reason that I have you with me today is you're also a writer and a contributor this year to our Advent of Generosity. And I asked you to write on candle number 5, the Christ candle, as we approach Christmas Eve this week, the candle of light. So we're going to get to sharing a little bit about your reflection. But I asked you in advance for a couple of Christmas memories, and we've been really trying to out people with their Santa pictures. And if you have a Santa picture, and I know that you do, so I think John's going to bring this up. Can you tell us who else is in this picture?
That's, well, one of my favorite memories. Growing up in Canada, it was very family oriented. So the other people in that picture, one is my older brother and 2 are my cousins. So we were a small family on my dad's side, and the highlight of our Christmas was always meeting our cousins who lived not very close to us on Christmas Day at my grandmother's house. And we also would meet them, usually actually it was a day or 2 before Christmas that we would get together. Just a really special time. We all dressed up. We had special food that only my grandmother could make. And
where was that? Where was that home?
That was always in Waterloo.
Okay.
Yep, my grandmother and grandfather lived in Waterloo. So some of my favorite traditions of Christmas Day and Christmas Eve I used to find Christmas Eve just magical. Like it was a lot centered around church, but going to church Christmas Eve in the dark and the snow and just the anticipation of Christmas Day coming, I think was really heightened by going to church on Christmas Eve. So a lot of our traditions centered around that: family, church.
And I think John's got a couple of pictures, and it's something about you were mentioning something to me earlier about a tree, about your. There's a couple of pictures here of the tree being decorated by a little guy.
I know we've always had a real tree, and it is not a Hallmark tree because it is an eclectic collection of ornaments from gifts that children have made that mark occasions such as, baby's first birthday, that mark travel. And they come out a lot of memories on that real tree, and the children always decorated it. So with a little subterfuge, someone asked me if I move the ornaments after they decorate it, because the one you see in the picture is my youngest son, and obviously all the ornaments are on the bottom third of the tree
Yeah,
that,
right.
but I didn't move them, but I
The
also
ones
had,
the dog can eat.
that's right. It's, there's some that have missing. Actually some of the kids made, I don't know if your kids did this, but made dough ornaments,
Hmm.
did not survive the dog.
That's right, where the bottom third was eaten by the dog.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, oh, very good. Now, I also I know that you keep a nativity scene up year round. So I think John's got some pictures. I'm going to show you one of my nativity scenes, but tell us a bit about, about Jesus in the basement and why this nativity scene is out all year.
Well, the nativity scenes that John's going to show you, one is traditional porcelain that I've had for a long time. The wooden one is olive wood that comes from Kenya, with one of the few that actually include the star and the angel, and a baby Jesus that's bigger than Mary or Joseph, which is quite interesting. Um, and the third one that he's showing you is actually a Fisher-Price Little People's nativity scene that we brought in so that they could play with it. So our rules are the porcelain one is just to look at. The wooden one they can pick up and touch and feel it and look at the characters. And then the Fisher-Price one is for them to play with and to recreate the nativity scene themselves. So they love it. So out of my 6 grandchildren, we have twins who are 4, just turned 5. And last summer, when they came to the house, there's a big pile of toys for them to play with. And River, who's the only boy, was looking for the nativity scene. And so he said to me, "Where is Jesus, Grammy?" And the question probably is the only one in a whole year that took me off guard. I didn't know what to tell him, but I told him the truth. I finally said, "Well, Jesus is packed away in a box." And he wanted to know where the box was. And then when I told him the box was in the basement in the furnace room with the Christmas decorations, he became even more inquisitive and wanted to know why Jesus had been put away. And I had no answer. So he said, "You need to go and get him." So I went and got the nativity scene, and now it stays out all year, all year round.
Is it the Fisher-Price one that you keep out so that they can handle it, or no?
The Fisher-Price one.
Oh, you do? You keep that out all year?
We keep it out all year long.
Oh,
So I just
right.
had no answer for why Jesus had been put away for the season. So he stays out. There's a bit of a problem with it now because they've been over to visit and Mary is missing, but I'm sure she'll turn up somewhere.
Well, if there's a census being taken, I'm sure she's going to show up on the census. I'm going to ask John to show you one of mine. This is this is the nativity scene that comes out in one of the nativity scenes. Actually, when I was in Kenya, I picked up one that's made out of corn husks. That one always goes on the mantle. This one usually ends up on a window ledge, slightly off to the side. This was a gift from friends many years ago, a bit of a gag gift, and we looked at it and went, "This is horrible and terrific." So it comes out every year. That's probably getting close to, it's almost 20 years old. The little tiny porcelain snowman nativity scene, which just frankly makes 0 sense. But I don't let my kids, and never have let my kids, play with that. It just stays up on a high window ledge. But as cheesy as some of these things are, and I'm sure your tree is full of kind of handmade ornaments and cheesy things from the kids as they've grown up. So, I mean, that's where that nativity scene falls for me too. As cheesy as it is, I'm always reminded of the context of where it came from and why it makes me laugh. But it's always connected to memories, just like decorating the tree or those ornaments. So let's turn our faces towards the light and towards your reflection, Brenda. I know John's going to play a little clip here, but as you can see on the other screen with us, there's 2 images that you selected to go along with your reflection on light. Tell me a bit about what we're looking at in these 2 images.
Okay, thanks. The top picture, the abstract one, is by an artist named Mike Moyer, who paints always in abstract. And he has entitled this one, The Light of the World. And it, to me, is a symbol of, Christ entering our world at Christmas. So very effective in demonstrating how the light and the arrival of Christ just shattered the darkness, just broke through, and that light is still with us today, still shattering the darkness. So that is the one by Mike Moyer, specifically focused on that verse that Jesus is the light of the world. And the one at the bottom is entitled Mary and Jesus with the Shepherds. And it's been painted by an artist in Cameroon, Africa, named Jesus Mafa. And these paintings come out of interesting background on it. They come out of a Christian community who follow the lectionary at Christmas. And then each group takes one of the readings and performs it as a dramatic tableau. And that is photographed. And then the artists take the tableau that has been photographed and paint it. So this has been painted from an actual drama performed around a lectionary reading.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm going to ask John to play a little bit of today's reflection. It went out in Prayer Line. If you're not signed up for Prayer Line, you can do that on our website. And there it is on the other screen. So Prayer Line comes out every Tuesday, and these reflections, and Brenda's reflection, was posted today. It's also posted at cbmin.org /AOG for Advent of Generosity. So, excuse me, John, why don't you play a little clip of Brenda's.
The sands in our world are shifting, and we do not know where to place our feet. So many of us are stumbling in the darkness, floundering, hoping to get through it. But we have this promise from Isaiah of light and of hope. You cannot talk about light without talking about darkness. In Genesis, God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. It is by light that the wonder of God's creation is revealed.
Great. Thank you, John. One of the things you mentioned in your reflection, I was struck by, you said that one candle can be the impetus for many lights. And then it suddenly came to my realization that we will not have that experience, which I love. And I love to sit at the back of the church on Christmas Eve. And so when they dim the lights and the pastor or someone takes the light from the Christ candle and passes it to people holding candles, and then we would pass it down the pews. I'm sure you've done this. I'm sure. And then the whole sanctuary blooms into that candlelight, usually as we're singing. It's one of the most magical moments. And I contrasted that actually this morning in chapel, just thinking about the candles as we extinguish them when we were at a tenebrae service. It's a completely reverse experience. And this is where the light just continues to fill and to fill and to fill as we all hold these candles. And we're not going to do that this year, unfortunately, certainly not here in Ontario. But it was a wonderful reminder of all those Christmas Eves, either holding kids that are just fidgety through a Christmas Eve service that just want to get home and get on with the rest of Christmas. What will your time look like, Brenda, this year in this very strange year?
It is very strange, very different pandemic times, Gordon, that the family events, the family gatherings have obviously all been canceled. I'll be spending time, we have 3 children. I'll be spending time with each one of them separately because of social distancing. They're not seeing each other. So we won't even have that first level of family gathering with just the immediate family. But people are accepting that this is what we need to do to come out safe and healthy on the other side in 2021. And in some respects, there are some things I don't miss. That some of that hurrying and constant gathering and events that sometimes seem to get in the way of Christmas. So it's been a quieter time of reflection. A lot of things that in many years I didn't have time to do. I didn't have time to sit and watch services that were celebrating the Advent and the waiting time of waiting. And I think in this period of time, there's been less running around and more reflection.
Yeah, it has been a waiting season, hasn't it? I mean, it's felt like we've been waiting all year. Like, when is this passing? When am I getting back to normal? When? And now through Advent, and here, as I said, if you're here in Ontario, you're looking at a lockdown, like we all across this province, like we've experienced here in Toronto, where I am. And you're in you're in Waterloo.
I'm in
right?
Waterloo.
So
Yep.
you guys will be locked down just like us. So there will be more waiting to come, and waiting right into the new year for what is next for all of us. But you were mentioning you've had a chance to maybe reflect a little bit more in this waiting season. So have you introduced a practice or anything like that through this bit of extra time that we've all got kind of on our hands?
I have. Well, I've gone back to what I had let slide, which was taking time out of the day just to read through the Advent story and taking time to reflect on the different approach of the different Gospels. And as I said, less running around. It's been, I think I'm programmed to shop for groceries, and I've had to pull back on that, realizing we don't need a turkey this year. We don't need all this baking. And the verse that comes to mind is, "Be still and know that I'm God." It's almost like, can we stop all of this insanity and just sit down and think about what Christmas is really about? I mean, we're all going to miss seeing our friends and our extended family, but I think overall it has made us stop and be still, and we're going to appreciate those gatherings even more. We're going to have deeper meaning and have more thought when we can finally get together again.
Well, it's been delightful to have each of you, all 5 writers, participating and doing these calls and releasing the generosity, the Advent of Generosity series each Tuesday. And there has been resources available for churches, because you also include not only your personal reflection, but a bit of a liturgy and a reflective reading that individuals and churches certainly could make use of online. We've been doing this series in chapel on Tuesday, and we get to that moment and I ask everybody to unmute their microphones and we participate in the reading together. So thank you. Your contribution has been very meaningful to me, and your participation with the other 4 writers, I think, has made this quite an exceptional little package. So I'm very proud of all the work that we've done together. And John and Christine are on the call, who have been putting it out every Tuesday and publishing it online. So thanks, guys, behind the scenes, for bringing us right up to today's call. So I want to point out one other thing, and I hope you get a chance to look at this, Brenda, if you haven't already. On the Build Your Own Sunday page for CBM, the church engagement team has put together a entire service, and this came up some time ago, and thought, pastors are really struggling, and certainly my understanding is that Sunday between Christmas and New Year's is often at the end of a very, very busy season. And so the church engagement team have put in place for any pastor, any church that wants to run a complete plug and play resource called A Weary World Rejoices. I watched it yesterday, and my department was not involved in this, and I was completely knocked out. again to see reports from field staff and team leaders from around the world, just brief clips of updates. And Jonathan Wilson gives a great sermon here and a wonderful connection with a worship band down east that Louise Hannum has a connection to, provide 3 songs. It's really lovely. So John, again, did a fabulous job of knitting all of those clips together and piecing the music in there. So I hope churches get a chance and pastors get a chance to receive this as a gift. It really is, it's really excellent. And yeah, and I hope it does take some of the burden off of the pastors and churches that have gotten to the end of this year that need a bit of a break. So that's there if you haven't seen it. If your church needs another resource, if you're a pastor, pass it on to your pastor if he needs a break this season, and enjoy what's been presented there by the church engagement team. So Brenda, this brings us to the end. Get this, this is show 96.
Nice.
Episode 96, didn't quite make it to 100, but yeah, I'm okay with that. I was just telling colleagues the other day that I'm at the point now where I just pump gas, and as soon as it stops, it just stops. I don't even round up anymore. And a couple of the A-types just couldn't believe that you don't go, right to like $50 or $35 or whatever it is. So I'm gonna let this roll at 96. I'm okay with show 96. I asked John to maybe do a bit of a recap. So we're gonna give you a little montage, some humorous moments from this past season. We're going to call this the wrap now to season 1 of CBM Calling is now complete. And we will be taking a bit of a break, obviously over the holidays and into the new year, to rethink what we want to do and how we want to continue to keep you updated about all things going on in CBM and issues that we are facing as churches and individuals. So Brenda, I wish you a Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you and to all of our people who are watching this on Facebook.
Indeed.
It's been a great CBM Calling season for something that you didn't think you would be doing a year ago.
Yeah, when we started the first one, I didn't think we'd get to 96, that's for sure. So yeah, it's been a season of firsts. So here is a montage for the end of season 1 of CBM Calling. We wish you peace and all the best for 2021. God bless you all. Thanks, Brenda.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Are we streaming online? Let me check the feed.
Hey, Terry.
Hi, Jen.
Well, this is a special day. This is our first time doing a Facebook Live. We're calling it CBM Calling.
Welcome to day 3 of CBM Calling.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for CBM Calling.
Thank you, Jen and Terry.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue.
We're so happy to speak in English tonight. And
I can tell you from experience that he is an excellent builder of composting latrines.
I'm on live on Facebook, Daddy. Hi, Fred. You can say hi to everybody.
Hi there.
I definitely feel you on that. I'm preparing.
But I'm going to ask you now to show me again how we're going to make the perfect cup of coffee. Then we're going to carry on with our conversation.
This is an unprecedented experience, isn't it?
But what it means is we are created in the image of God, and that matters. And we matter to God, and our lives should matter too.
Yeah. Right now, for example, the Baptist World Alliance, in partnership with CBM and other members of the BWA's aid network, are working on a variety of aid projects in some of the most critically impacted areas around the world.
In the midst of devastation, there's opportunity for innovation.
The staff are still active. They care for the people in their programs.
Reverend Thompson, the pastor, had a truckload of rice bags in that.
Organize something to get, food hampers to pastors in need.
We have this empty space, and we have been thinking how we can serve our community, serve the country.
Yeah, it's definitely been a steep learning curve, and just finding different ways to help people.
And our God will always give us hope.
It's encouraging to see that all the youth leaders, all the youth ministries are motivated.
Everybody wants to help. And so we have a lot of people calling us all the time, just please, how can you use me? How can I help?
Schools and churches of our Baptist community have been used for shelters.
And people are seeing the difference. And we praise God that He's giving us the opportunity to share the gospel with people over there.
I want to thank you, Jennifer, and all of CBM
for continuing to support this very unique ministry.
It's amazing for rural churches in Canada. They are involved in what God's doing in Sudan and Morocco and Syria and Lebanon.
I feel like they're kind of kernels of grain that are being sown, and we'll see down the road how they grow and how they flourish.
Knowing that we're united, and I feel like we are united, and we always pray for our partners as well, and have mentioned, the Canadian Baptist Ministries by name multiple times.
So I think that's really exciting, actually, and that's why it's great to have the Canadians on board with those values of partnership and invitation.
Merry Christmas!
Okay, I think that actually worked. I'm stunned at my own technical abilities.